We're focusing on a critical challenge facing the energy industry: internal corrosion and crude oil transmission pipelines.
This issue has been steadily escalating, with increasing failure frequencies reported by the Pipeline and Hazardous Materials Safety Administration, or PHMSA. Despite applying standard industry corrosion hazard assessment methods, the root causes of these failures remain elusive.
That's where today's discussion gets interesting. We're diving into how QIC Assess, quantitative internal corrosion assessment, can be applied to address this growing problem. Let's start with the scope of the issue.
Crude oil transmission pipelines are the backbone of interstate oil shipping. They operate under highly variable conditions, transporting a complex mix of fluids that can include water, sediments, and other impurities. These factors create an ideal environment for internal corrosion.
Exactly. And as regulatory pipeline data shows, the frequency of internal corrosion failures in these pipelines has been on the rise. Traditional assessment methods often fall short because they struggle to account for the intricate interactions between pipeline materials, transported fluids, and operational conditions.
Unlike standard methods, QIC Assess integrates hydraulic modeling with advanced corrosion algorithms to create highly accurate corrosion profiles. For crude oil pipelines, this means understanding not just the corrosion likelihood, but also pinpointing where and why it's happening.
Let's break that down. The first step with QIC Assess involves mapping out the flow dynamics within the pipeline. By applying PIPESIM and OLGA mechanistic three-phase flow correlations, QIC Assess elevates the characterization of oil-water slippage. This helps identify areas where water might separate from the oil phase and accumulate, increasing the risk of corrosion.
But it doesn't stop there. QIC Assess also considers episodic ingress of biomass, sludge, and debris from upstream crude oil storage facilities. These contaminants can significantly accelerate corrosion, especially when coupled with other corrosive agents.
And let's not forget oxygen ingress. Oxygen can enter the system during the unloading of trucked-in crude oil at upstream tank farms and storage terminals. This creates localized conditions conducive to aggressive pitting corrosion, which is particularly challenging to detect and mitigate with standard methods.
QIC Assess also evaluates the implications of intermittent flow conditions. During periods of non-flow, water can settle along the pipeline route, creating stagnant zones that elevate the risk of internal corrosion. When intermittent flow combines with oxygen ingress, it further increases the likelihood of activating sites of pre-existing corrosion damage.
Analysis of historical failures suggests all the non-steady state situations you just described are key contributing factors to more than 80% of all past failures. Yet none of these factors is included within conventional hazard assessment models for crude oil pipelines. So, how do pipeline operating companies modify their day-to-day field activities to properly mitigate these challenges?
One key strategy identified by QIC Assess is increasing mechanical pigging frequency in response to debris ingress from upstream storage terminals. This helps remove solids in accumulated water, reducing corrosion risks. Another critical recommendation for non-steady-state intermittent operations, particularly when oxygen ingress is a concern, is the continuous injection of monoethylene glycol, or MEG. MEG is designed to create a MEG-water mixture within the water film, ensuring that even during no-flow conditions, the mixture remains non-corrosive. That's a significant shift in strategy. The MEG-water mixture addresses the root cause of most crude oil pipeline failures by preventing the activation of pre-existing corrosion damage.
Even if oxygen is present, the mixture maintains a non-corrosive environment, neutralizing one of the most persistent corrosion risks.
This approach is a departure from the standard industry practice of injecting a continuous corrosion inhibitor at the beginning of the pipeline. These inhibitors rely on the presence of a distinct water film that moves at a high velocity to function effectively.
And as we know, those conditions rarely exist in crude oil pipelines. Oil-water slippage leads to regions of stagnant water traps where reduced pH and settled solids increase corrosion risks. Even if inhibitors reach these stagnant zones, they fail to form a protective film due to the lack of high water flow velocity.
Yeah, just like in oil and gas production pipeline systems, the standard industry mitigation response only rarely appropriate for the real-world pipeline operations. So, instead of attempting to create an inhibitor film on the pipeline, the MEG injection strategy modifies the corrosive environment itself. This proactive approach ensures that water accumulation, regardless of flow dynamics, cannot support corrosive activity. It's a game changer for pipelines dealing with intermittent operations and oxygen ingress.
QIC Assess considers the interaction of multiple mitigation strategies to optimize corrosion control. For instance, combining mechanical pigging with MEG injection can address both debris and stagnant water accumulation. Operators can adapt these solutions based on flow rates, pipeline elevation profiles, and the nature of the transported crude oil.
Another important aspect is the monitoring and validation process. QIC Assess integrates inline inspection data to confirm the effectiveness of implemented strategies. This creates a feedback loop that continuously improves corrosion control measures, ensuring they remain effective under changing operational conditions.
The result? A detailed, actionable corrosion hazard profile that highlights high-risk areas and recommends effective mitigation measures. For operators, this means they can target their resources more effectively, focusing maintenance and mitigation efforts appropriate for the corrosive environment, and with consideration of pre-existing corrosion damage.
It's not just about preventing failures. By optimizing maintenance schedules and targeting high-risk areas, QIC Assess helps operators reduce costs and improve the overall reliability of their pipelines. It's a win-win.
So, what's the takeaway here? If you're operating crude oil transmission pipelines, especially interstate systems, QIC Assess offers a proven path forward. It addresses the root causes of internal corrosion by elevating the characterization of key factors like oil-water slippage, episodic contaminant ingress, oxygen ingress, and the implication of intermittent operations.
Operators can move from a reactive to a proactive approach, protecting their assets and ensuring the safe transport of crude oil.
If this resonates with you, consider exploring how QIC Assess could integrate into your pipeline integrity program. It's more than just a technology, it's a new way of thinking about corrosion management.
Thanks for joining us on this important conversation. As always, if you have questions or want to learn more, feel free to reach out.
Until next time, stay safe, stay proactive, and keep your pipelines reliable.